It has been a disturbing and emotional day in Edmonton. Difficult questions hang over the burned-out remains of a house where an eruption of gunfire sent police scrambling and resulted in the death of a constable. Plainclothes police were sent to West Edmonton around 8 p.m. last night to arrest Norman Raditz. The officers called for backup, and when they brought out a battering ram to enter the house, Raditz opened fire on the 8 officers. First, he hit Sergeant Jason Harley in the lower back. Then, over 10 minutes, he fired at least 53 times. That's how many bullet holes were found in the house across the street. During the chaos, Constable Daniel Woodall was shot several times and died at the scene. His wounds described as catastrophic. The CBC's Aaron Collins is at the site of the shooting tonight. Aaron.
Peter, across Edmonton tonight, people are leaving their porch lights on, remembering Constable Daniel Woodall.
I feel this most deeply as a father of young children. And I'm incredibly sad for them and for Mrs. Woodall.
Edmonton's mayor expressing the sorrow felt by his city. Constable Daniel Woodall killed in a hail of gunfire, leaving behind a wife and 2 small children.
Edmonton is a safe city because, by and large, good people live here. The very bravest and best among us step forward, police, to protect us from the few and the worst among us.
Constable Woodall stepped all the way across the Atlantic to take on that job.
My name's Daniel, I'm an EPS member. I've been serving with EPS for 9 years now.
Last night, while Woodall was on duty, his wife was at home retweeting a police warning to stay away from the scene. When Constable Daniel Woodall and 7 other officers showed up at this home last night, they weren't expecting trouble. That's exactly what they found, and before the night was through, the police were pulling more than 50 slugs out of this house across the street. Those bullets came through this garage door, piercing several other walls before passing over Paul Noble.
Where the there was 3 bullets came through there, and if I'd been standing up like him, he would have got it right in the chest.
Neighbors say the man who's believed to have shot those rounds, Norman Walter Raditz, kept to himself.
Well, he was a distant person. You couldn't. I had no idea. I mean, from talking to him to know what he was like, but he seemed to be a distant person, and I just kept my distance.
The 42-year-old was known to police but didn't have an extensive criminal record, known mostly for harassing a local family online.
The online hatred and bullying of an Edmonton family had become extreme, and the family members were increasingly worried about their personal safety, at which time the Edmonton Police Service became involved.
That online bullying is why Constable Woodall was at the scene. The 35-year-old was attached to the force's hate crimes unit. Still, Edmonton police say they had no indication Raditz would react so violently.
The first member to the door, Sergeant Jason Harley, was struck in the lower back by a bullet. Because he was wearing protective body armor, the bullet was unable to do any life-threatening damage.
Sergeant Harley was treated in hospital and released. And Constable Woodall, also wearing body armor, wasn't as lucky, receiving a fatal head injury. And police say officers on the scene didn't shoot back. Soon after, the home was engulfed in flames. And it's unclear who started the fire, but when officers finally entered the home, charred remains were found in its burnt-out basement. Investigators believe they belong to their only suspect, Norman Raditz. Constable Woodall's wife hasn't spoken publicly yet, but she has taken to Twitter again, thanking Edmontonians for their support and calling her husband a hero. Peter?
All right, Aaron, thank you. Aaron Collins in Edmonton.